So the time travel power. The limitations of said time travel power. Tell me about that, Paul.
Well, when it was first introduced, is it Eli goes back in time?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Yeah, Eli goes back in time to save Marty, and he doesn't know the limitation at that point. But there's a later story arc that will more heavily involve time travel, and that's when they figure out exactly that it's a 10-minute time limit.
Yeah. All told, that may be probably the most profoundly powerful superpower I've seen in Times Square. I mean, you got some real good ones in there, you know. But the telekinesis and the invisibility and stuff like that, the quicken up power speed. Now, tell me about that. Tell me about the hyperspeed also, because it's not like the Flash. You can't do it forever, right?
No.
Well, give me the limitation on that one.
I don't think we've discussed the limitation on that yet, but obviously all the powers have a limitation that either only one of them can use at a time, or only one of them at all can use it.
I think it's kind of cool in the story where you talk about the limitations. The boys are kind of figuring it out as they go along, which serves the coming of age theme in the story rather well.
Yeah.
It's not like Silver Age DC Comics where they'd say, can only be invisible for 1 hour. They tell you in the beginning, right? So kids would go, okay, so the pill only lasts for 1 hour, This is, there's not as much expositional writing. So it comes out more natural like that. Trevor, if you could only have one superpower that's exhibited in the story, which one would you pick?
I suppose if I had any power, I'd probably just do some dumb stuff with it. Probably like telekinesis.
Right.
Which is actually the power exclusive to Eli.
Yeah. So there you go.
I actually forgot that detail.
So there you go right there. Have there ever been any incidents, just everyday type of casual incidents that made its way into the book between the two of you, things that happened or arguments you might have had or anything like that? Are there any, where does real life infuse itself into the story?
Honestly, it's a little hard for me to remember at the moment because the stories keep changing.
Yeah.
We keep rewriting.
Let me shift gears then, Trevor. When the story was first, when the concept of the book was first in the planning stages, did you do any model sheets on any of the characters? Did you do any character design?
Well, I tried, except my skill wasn't really that great at the time.
Right.
Like, I thought I needed more training before I could actually produce something of quality.
Right. Well, now that and you've stuck with it, and I can say personally that I've seen your skills grow as an illustrator and as a designer. So, are we going to see some stuff in the book that were based on your designs? Are we going to see some of that?
Well, I've done a few. I've done like a few designs for the comic. Like, should I say a name or that'd be a spoiler? Like he drew a prop.
Oh.
And he's credited in that issue.
Oh, good.
And then also later I don't want to overstep.
Right. So when you say prop, you're talking about some kind of a super weapon type of thing?
It is like the prop was basically a weapon.
Oh, right.
I then for a future issue that I'm currently working on.
Right.
I designed something that is central to the arc.
Oh, I see. I see. This weapon, is this a real cool looking thing that I'd like to own a toy of?
Well, it's not in there very long.
No, okay. Well, it's good that you got credit on it, because if it ends up being merchandised, you stand to make some money, and of course, don't forget your old friends. But the as far as the story arcs go, actually, let me go back to this. When you were first brainstorming about the storylines and about the characters and the kind of things that would come up, what comics were you influenced by? I know you guys were big readers and still read some stuff, I think, although less than you used to. What stories or cartoons or anime or anything, what stuff influenced you?
Well, I would say that one work that has at least subtly influenced our work is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
The Araki
Yeah,
property.
Hirohiko Araki.
Right. And that's both of you. Both of you are heavily into that, yeah?
Yeah. But part of that influence is how he thought about the limitations of powers, and then also there's a sound effect that's heavily used in JoJo's. So occasionally we use it like once, just kind of as a nod to that.
Oh, okay.
And at the time we were like coming up with the setting. We were into this game called Lollipop Chainsaw. So there's kind of a shout out in there.
Right. I'm worried about that shout out. So are there references to other personal things in the story, other personal things that you're fans of? Did any of that make it into the book?
Actually, yes. Names of some of the characters are they're named after real life comics creators.
Yeah. No, I've seen the names. A lot of them are easy to spot. They're Miller, Kirby, Brubaker. Is Reynolds Ryan Reynolds?
No.
Who's that?
Well, her first name is Gail, as in Gail Simone.
Ah, I got it.
Then Don is named after Don Figueroa, who is mostly known as a Transformers artist.
Right. He was your favorite guy, wasn't he, of the Transformer series?
Yeah, he was this really good artist.
Yeah. I remember he was the one that you held up as the high watermark, and there's one guy you definitely didn't like. I used to hear about him a lot, you know.
Well, the quality of Pat Lee's art is another story.
I'm sure he has his fans, you know, maybe one or two, but yeah. So the Hiraki, the JoJo arc, I remember very clearly you showing me something. So the powers you're saying and the limitations of said powers, a lot of that stuff that ended up in Power Squared, you're saying that was sort of informed by Iraqi's take on that in JoJo.
Well, not necessarily the powers themselves, but more so the I guess you could say the application of some of the powers, and like the time travel having a 10-minute limit was based on certain like metaphysical abilities in JoJo's having some kind of limit, often a time limit.
Right. Do you ever does the artist ever draw things or props in the story that are things that you guys are into in real life? I mean, do they ever have a JoJo book in there, or you know, a Beatles doll on the shelf or anything like that?
Well, in the background of some of the backgrounds, there are like in certain characters' bedrooms, there are posters on the wall, and that's occasionally references to things that either it's things that we directly like or like tangentially related to things we like. For example, one of the characters has a poster for Doom,
right,
the more recent video game,
right,
and I believe in Marty and Eli's bedroom, there's a poster that's based on Bleach,
right,
which is sort of tangentially related to our interest in anime.
right.
There's also an Attack on Titan one in there. Yeah.
Attack on Titan, yeah. I meant to ask you, is the things that you were influenced by when you were growing up, was it more was it more Japanese stuff, or was it were there more American, like Marvel and DC superheroes?
It sort of been kind of a mixture, although probably the ratio sort of depended on like whether or not we thought anything was actually good.
Right. Yeah. Because I remember at one point when you guys were much younger, you were pretty into Sonic the Hedgehog. Not so much these days.